They weren't going to lose a life to somebody just hopping out of the window, and I think he knew that. They've got the breach open from distance. They're still working on that a little bit. I don't think the Selma charge has quite got the job done. In comes another. That will likely complete it, yeah. I think we'll see exactly how that is. I'm not sure that they've got the walkthrough that they needed. They've had to go onto the left-hand side, but they still should be able to work with that. Kills come in. Aces is going to pick up Dan, 4 versus 3 now, as Pasha fights back.
Pasha, hell of a 2 take there, and I'm assuming it was his impact that stopped the breach going all the way, but look at this, the pressure inside the site. Joystick swings behind the smoke, gets the header hungry. Packball gets one back for 40 seconds, and they've now got the kit lost in a little bit of the Lone Soul song of karaoke. Teb, he's trying to buy some pressure, buy some space. He knows it's a dangerous swing through, but they swing onto Packball first. Teb's tucking around either side of his own smokes here, but they work early on here, and to be fair, if we're talking about VP having late execute, WYLDE have done some 15-second marvels of their own. This one, though, almost a false start, but it turns into a 1 versus 1. He's on the back corner of the geisha room. He just sees the fire. Teb! You called him as a name to watch, and we couldn't look away. Tucks their way in close on the side. Shepard, he's got eyes on the player, sprays over the top, but it gets punched out just in time. Jegs, he finds always on the back end. Packball's going to see if he can stick the plant behind the solid as Pasha gets one back. Aces is doing everything towards the rotation and gets a great take onto Dan post plant. Tucked right behind the desk. Shepard, he's going to try and swing his way round, but look at the opening that they've already got. They've gone wide, they've got the first kill. The upside down repel should catch the rotate. There it is. Ace is able to get one more and one more. A triple over to the back end at the top of VIP stairs, and Shepard is the only important person left standing for Virtus Pro right now. He's trying to find an in, trying to find a route, gets the catch on the upside down player and the take on the far end, but with only a pocket full of seconds, one either side and one ready for the pinch. It's only really a pain sandwich at this point. Goes for the hop, goes for the spray, but it's Aces to get, I think, a quad on the round.
4K on the round indeed, and you know what a contrast from last time. He's using that shield against them. You know, that it's just great to see.
Oh, and he gets the take off the joystick.
Horrific.
And you wonder how he's able to get that territory so free. The top of black door still solid, and he finds a second. Please.
I'm just interested in Pasha's position. No, he's back out in Geisha, so there's work to be done for VP.
30 seconds, and a triple for Aces, and a Teb for the final full stop there. That hole just raised question marks, and okay, we can...
You know, so they're going to look good for it. If they can get this first map, you'd expect them to pick up one of the second two. It just seriously puts them in the driving seat. Aces with the entry again. Honestly, I don't want to say it too soon. I think we could be looking at a 7-0.
He just triggered the cap can so they would hurt Shepard. Didn't get the full kill on him. It was so quick. They entirely surrounded him now. It's the 3 versus 2. They've got the pressure on. They still have vertical control coming. Dan swung just before it hit him. He knew that he was sort of named on the cards here. He's tucked slightly different. The bolt is just gone, but there's Packball on the back end, and now with 10 seconds, they're looking for the final fight. Joystick still has the vertical control, and he's looking for a final player. No time. The burn of the smoke, the pop underneath. Teb's going to go for the plant in the midst and the chaos, and he doesn't quite have the angle. Teb, he's covered by his own gadget, but can he get out clean? No! Joystick chose the right rotate and just gets this cautiously as the first Virtus Pro round. First route through, maybe they had the read that everyone was on the other side and they've shifted themselves back, but Pasha is able to get that opener. Jegs goes down. There's the second. Teb lost on the back end. Patience pays off for Virtus Pro, and they found one more in the meantime. Okay. Play the hand on the other side and bring it back has been a much more profitable venture here for Virtus Pro. 2 remaining WYLDE players. They've tucked themselves around on the top here of black. They've got the Yossa shield. The Talon is just going to try and drive its way through, but Joystick is doing exactly the same thing. Packball gets 1, and Hungry gets a lot of damage, but he's now in the corner with only 13 seconds to see if he can get the plant. And, well, that shield did not get caught, but the player sure did. There's one more. He's got to find the ace, but cannot. Virtus Pro, 2 in a row.
Virtus Pro with a nice comeback there. Player gets himself up onto the balcony, and if Always' eyes were extremely quick there, might have just recognised that that was the Amaru and will be able to say, look, it's not going to be a hatch jump.
A double C4 from Shepard. ready, waiting, and willing to blow that at the first drop of trouble, with Pasha getting one more on the back end. Packbull, suddenly all that's left, and this is one of those late executes I talked about where it has not quite worked out here for WYLDE. They tried to crack through, but Virtus Pro had the game cracked themselves. It was a lot of talking, a lot of ideas entirely towards this fight. Joystick is concerned. He's going to get swung from every way, but he wins out the fight. Jegs goes. Teb wants to try and lock out this engagement before he knows he's going to get surrounded. There's the pull of the grenade, the roll of the fight. He's not quite able to get either side of it, and Joystick tucks his way behind Sushi on the back end. Packbull wants to get rid of Always and does. The smoke canister and finished off by the gun of Teb. Back to the top of the stairs, and Joystick caught by the support of Aces. WYLDE entirely sunk their way down there. They got the call where the hold was, they got the call where the fight was, and they made sure that no man was left behind. Packbull, he's going to try and replace this door, but not with wood, with a gun. Although losing a body on the far end suddenly gives him a little bit of caution.
Those sorts of risks, you know, if you've got the utility there, then use it. Pasha just looking to push from behind potentially. Packbull does manage ultimately to find the kill onto the ace. Pasha finds Teb underneath, is able to recollect that down diffuser, but with 20 seconds left to go, this is exactly the sort of position that Virtus Pro don't want to be finding themselves in. 1v2, limited time. Pasha hunting for kills. He knows that there's one inside of Geisha. Can he find his man? That's going to be the first of second, but no, the movement from WYLDE is good, just keeping himself out of trouble, and Hungry manages to eat up that final kill, and WYLDE get their first defense on the board.
Hungry, the grenades are going to roll through, they're going to burn off the ADSs, they're going to get the realization that's going to hit. They're blinded by their own, but they take over control of Terrace. 20 seconds though, and the Clash can just hold that button on the far end. It knocks them back a little, but look, they're trying to force all of the pressure over the top. It's a dangerous fight to take through the legs of the dragon and the fire and the flames, and the only one spit is at the end of Jegs' gun. Finds a second for the round. Aces, he's crouching his way up for some support, but suddenly Virtus Pro get a double back. However, 5 seconds to find themselves inside the site and get the kit down. In the meantime, with all the cover, and Teb still putting the damage in a Clash, causing so many problems. They're holding the trigger, they're holding the button, they've got to fight their way through. Joystick is looking every single direction. They can't quite stop the plant. They've somehow snuck it down, tucked on a corner, and you can't really work out who's to blame. Teb, he's doing some damage and giving himself a good name. Joystick over the top from the far end of the bar, a sliver of health, and he tucks tail just out the back end here of Terrace, waits for the swing, finds the first. And now it's down to Packbull on the back end, 20 seconds. And after being strong-armed and muscled out of his own sight, can he see if he can utilize those to long-arm the kit and the hold? They know he's going to hold it off. 13 seconds, the bait and the jiggle. He pulls off just in time! And Packbull, the man from the Emerald Isle, shines! Ready to snap shut on the doors of anybody who tries to make their way through. The quick play underneath, and there's the take. Joystick gets the player from the hatch. It's the pressure now as Pasha drops their weight down. It's castled off with a lot of cross angles, and this is what I talked about, the danger of this site itself, as you can watch it all the way across. Hungry, he's going for a bit of a retake over the top. Finally finds the first body, and with 20 seconds left, though, they now know the call that he's quite far away. So let's see if we can tuck ourselves in. Right to the back end of Bathroom, as Hungry's now got a second, but he's got to ace out this round to have any chance of it going into their favor. They're tucked with the plant. They have the cover this time. They have at least 2 players ready for the fight. He's looking for a toasty engagement, but unfortunately all that's done is give them a little bit more to work with. They still have 3 players. They only need 1. And with 2 taps after the timeout, it's a Virtus Pro round.
Yeah, managing to turn it over, it was.
And Virtus Pro push this one over the end. There's a big enough door for Amonte to roll his way through on without too much fear of having to drop his shield. Teb, he's hoping for the swing on the far end. They're just going to pull out the first bit of danger. There's the reveal of the smoke. The man with the special glasses is in the perfect position to try and stop this. The danger is he might get swung from Geisha window, or Karaoke window even, as he slips his way on by. They've tucked themselves in. They're going for the plant. They're just spraying it down. Jegs had the cover as well. It's only a second left, and Virtus Pro did not have the time for a plan B.
I love that reinforcement, just preventing Joystick, who tried to do exactly that, get in and pressure from the drum angle. But Dan, he manages to pick up Jegs, and that is what Virtus Pro Pro needed. They needed to start finding some kills, some cracks, and Joystick manages to find aces as well. 5 versus 3, 30 seconds left to go.
Oh, I thought he'd missed the boat on that one, but he tucks it back in and ties it away. Suddenly, 30 seconds, they've got a double. I said this might start with the fight on Teb, and he might be the end of it. He's still in a position of power. He might be able to swing around the back end. He's waiting patiently for the calls to come against it. They've got themselves stacked up. They're trying to slip the kit round in the back and bottom of Black stairs. There's Teb getting Joystick above. There's Packball getting one inside the site, 10 seconds. And suddenly they've got to try and recollect the kit. They're able to get one more. It's a 2 versus 2. It's now a 1 versus 2. They've just got to hold off on the side of Hungry. He's hot pinged. He gets the cover. He's got to sprint round for the final player. Can he make it? Yes, he can!
Unreal finish from Hungry there, 1v2. It was, for me, the first kill, the one onto drum stairs, that really opened up that round for him to be able to take Skyscraper for Wild. It was just as well. He was support for Jegs working underneath. If he can stay on these half steps, he's actually in a good position, but he's going to take a lot of damage and a little bit more as Pasha manages to find the opener.
Hiding in the tree, using the camouflage of camouflage itself, and now suddenly the player on the rafters is in a very tricky situation. Jegs, he's going to hold on for as long as possible, but they are circling. Shepard gets aces on the back end. I'm not sure if that was just a catch onto the rotation of the window or not, but Tab does find a single player back in, gets some support there. The swing round buys him a bit of time, buys him a little bit more that they can work with. A minute left though, and with what's been open and what's been forced, here it is, the flood of the players underneath. Jags gets one, always has the grenades to see if he can pull the next, and Jags is entirely caught in the corner.
It's going to be practically impossible to put the diffuser down. Jags is going to be full white flashed, but they don't make the move quick enough, or do they? They do. They manage to get in, always gets the kill. 20 seconds left to go, and Virtus Pro need to get moving. Teb is in a position to potentially deny this. He's on the Solis, he can move underneath, use the gadget to see where that diffuser is going down, but he is going to need a little bit of cover, a little bit of support to do it, but I don't think they're watching. He's going for the vertical denial. This is going to be big. He can stop this. 1 second, and somehow they manage to hold on. They go for another attempt. It's 1 versus 3, and no! Somehow he manages it. Hungry gets into sight, finds the final kill. What a clinging on of a defense from Wild.
Such a finite resource on this map. Everything was open in the hope of the whole. Here in Packball, he's going to see if he can swing round. He gets Aggie, but the cover was from Dan. And suddenly the two players flood their way down. They popped the fire canister just to buy some time. Aces pops to rotate. He might get caught at the top of blue in just a second, though. There's a bit of explosiveness on the site itself. They're inside. They've flooded themselves down, and now the loose player is all that's left. The Solus is trying to find a single idea of salvation, but Aces too late on the rotate, and well, they could not quite get the trap to work its way around. Virtus Pro saw openings, saw hatches, saw an open site and an opening, and Jegs is doing his best to try and pull some of the bodies back, but it's another 1 versus 3 sort of situation. This time there's no hero play to stop a kit to go down. There's one more take. Has to get 1 above, 2 above even. Both have rotated their way up. The hit of the impact, the pop of the flash, the swing of the player. Finds one. He might be able to get himself the ace here. He probably won't be able to get the kit as well. Can't get the final connection. And although the round has gone away from him, Jegs has put in a huge effort to try and pull it back. As the fire popping at the wrong end of dirt. No double drive from that side this time. Instead, it's going to all raindrop down above them. The first roll of the grenade, they're just going to tuck it close towards the rotate itself. Does a lot of damage towards the side of Jegs. The second doesn't catch. They know about the player tucked behind them, though, as the blinds come across on the opposite end. Dan, he's screamed his way down the long corridor, but look at the timer. They've got to see if they can stick this. Shepard goes for it, and the cover comes across. They're desperately trying to find the fight. Jegs either side, the swing onto the first. Jegs looking for the second. It's a post plant. Caught the head. There's one more round on the back, but he can't make it. Pasha just gets the ultimate kill at the end of that round.
Really, at that point you start arguing, it'd probably be better to still have the gun on the board.
He's doing it cautiously because he knows how important he is to this, but there's caution paid to the wind. A trade either side, though. They do lose Packball in the top corner. He was flamed out by the Capitao and forced out by the motion. They keep their body balance in their favor, but Jegs is still in this position and been able to burn this out pretty well before the second flash, and the third is the fight, but it's Pasha. who said on the tear before that he's getting himself in a very aggressive position. They're taking risks here. They know that they need to sort of make them come together, and Teb's able to find one on the back end. 20 seconds, and look at this positioning. He's hoping to get the player by surprise, but Shepard roots it right through. Suddenly, hey, where are we? Oh yeah, it's a 1 versus 3 clutch attempt once again in this showdown. Teb gets the first. He looks to connect with the second. They've hopped in close here, 12 seconds, and they can't quite stick the plant. There's a running out of ammo, the worst time, but who's that? It's the Soulless, rooting their way underneath. They pull off the plant. They get the call, the read, and the idea. They're watching the rotations. They're caught on a drone. They still have to stick it, and they don't! Virtus Pro don't get themselves safe, and WYLDE twice on that site, Tim. Trades throughout this game, and here WYLDE have got themselves entirely tucked back round to the site, all underneath. Aces is prepped. He's gone for the very long rotate. The blue hatch itself is still closed, but otherwise waiting and watching for the rotate. Joystick suffered on the back end, and you assume that was the player who did the damage. So he's cautious about meeting the fight one more time, but caution can only be paid when you've got 15 seconds left. Pasha above on an angle, does get pack bull. Very well watched there, but now with the eyes on the site, they catch the loose player, they catch the roam, and they catch themselves tucked in the corner right by the bomb chassis. They are all the way on the other side of the stage. Always is all the way back in on Kitchen to the corridor. They're able to win it out, but they should get the stick. The cover comes through. They get the last player, Joystick. Ooh, he has about as much health as the opponents have.
A good position to be able to make the challenge, and I don't think they know exactly where he is, so they need to cover multiple angles potentially here. They're going to go for it. Hungry, is he going to stick this? Are they waiting for the bait to come through? No, Joystick knows where it is, but WYLDE able to get that one done as Joystick just left it a little bit too late to push it.
His slow crawl from the strip club. He's had his fill of the music, and now he wants to try and cause some problems of his own, but has he learned any dance moves?
They need to make sure that he isn't too late in this push. He's got to time it just right, and it may be that that time has already passed them. They're down, they put in the diffuser on the ground. It's all up to Jegs. 10 seconds left to go. He goes in, he can't get them both, as always manages to wheel around and find that kill through the hatch, and you just feel for Jegs that maybe it was just 5 seconds too late.
A bit of a tuck by the rest. Here's the drive though. They're trying to get some pace. Caught both of them in the fire. They're just going all the way into the site itself. They drive themselves through. There's the reveal of a gun barrel. They're almost caught out from the main stairs, pushing the swing, but with a low amount of health, Packpool's got to see if he can try and get himself through onto the site safely. They're breaking, breaching, and smashing their way through. They're trying to drive the attention towards the armory side, and Teb and Aces are able to finally start ticking into life here on this, the early fight game. Always misses the slip through. They're able to watch him, just catches it, but with Packpool going for the plant, they've gone above. I believe there's a single rotate that's come through towards the opposite end here, and no, caught out by Aces. Always does get one more. The two players have been reunited. There is not a lot of health across the board here. There's still the reveal and the catch on the cameras itself. The verticality's moved away from them. The hatch is still solid, but there's a lot of soft around it to go for the watch. One's in dirt, one's tucked right on the kit itself, the pop of the fire, and the rotate round. Pasha does get the player just inside where the kit's gone down. 20 seconds. They've tucked their way back round on the back of main stairs. Packbull, he's watching from dirt. There's the cover of the main door. There's the spray through onto one. They're going to see if they can try and eke out a fight either way, but nothing's being handed to them. WYLDE, they go with pace and they make sure it counts.
Definitely a good site already. Can they do it again? They are continuing to try and push the angle from Dirt Tunnel, but Dan manages to find Packbull. That is not going to help Hungry.
Very well played there by Virtus Pro. They read that the push was coming through. They popped the canisters. They had the discs there, and they made sure that nothing could go behind it. And suddenly, WYLDE have to try and rebuild without any real pocket utility. And Virtus Pro are just cutting them down every single time they try and slip through. Teb does get one on the back end, but with the Monty caught in the corner of the site, they've dropped the shield because they know they've got to try and offer something back towards the fight itself. They're driving themselves in. They're pulling back. They're not going to fall for the trap that he's above you, but with 15 seconds, WYLDE have to do more than just be above their opponents. Hungry, he's going to see if he can try and bait the plant. He's going to hope that they can get the catch on the opposite end. There's a spray through. There's a great take from Teb, but somehow able to eke it, and they might be able to get the shield back up. They do. Virtus Pro, they've suffered 2 bodies now, and they've suffered a kick going down here, and you have a lot of questions for the fight. There's an Oryx that misses and goes down, but they at least cement the kill. There's the second. That was almost a tragic round for VP.
Of just putting their foot against the wall and pushing back.
Yeah, I mean, the door itself is softed, so unless they did it afterwards, either way, it's a bit of a route through always. He's stuck close to a fight. Pasha blows one, and Shepard gets the second on the follow-up, and there is the last caught on the side. Virtus Pro, a surprise start to a round with a pretty comfortable landing at the end of it. They pull ahead.
Impact at the minute, and always still just able to take out that drone as it goes past him. Joystick gets a second in the round, takes Packbull down, and again the fire arrow just in slightly the wrong position. Always tries to take that fight, but ultimately takes a lot of damage as he dances
for every single round of WYLDE throughout this game. 20 seconds. They're trying to fight their way towards the default. They've got the bulletproof, getting the pings, and it's tucked in an awkward angle, so you can't quite get the shot to remove it. Two players on the back line are red. The smoke canister's doing all the work. They're going to go for the pop there. The Gon 6 onto it, with Dan getting one more on Tab. That is the kit isolated outside with only 5 seconds. The players pull and peel themselves back to a back line. Aces is able to get one. Cannot quite get himself the kit in time. Virtus Pro, they push themselves to map point and eye up Chalet.
Usually Church and Arsenal will see it down to the last 20 seconds or so. We saw it out of Virtus Pro when they were on the attack. So, you know, this is good from WYLDE. Jegs manages to get another. They're going to open up Church Wall. Literally, they're ticking every box of these attacks at the minute.
Yeah, this is so much tighter, so much nicer as an approach here. 40 seconds. They've got the Church Wall open. They're going to have to see if they can try and counter. They blind everybody in the back of blue, but Joystick is the loose thread that might have put himself in a precarious position. Although droned out acing. There's a new position. It's a dangerous one to find himself in. They're trying to buy him as much as a breath of fresh air as possible. A 4 versus 2. He gives the game away and gets caught out by Jegs on the back end. It is just Dan left. Not for very long though. WYLDE, I would say one of their strongest rounds throughout this map. Maybe the strongest that they've been able to play just in the dying throws. Full, they have the attention paid either side, and with 30 seconds and Pasha going down at this point, WYLDE have to just jump the windows.
Nade comes in, will finish off Pasha. Teb manages to get Shepard. It's all falling apart for VP, but all of a sudden, Joystick always managed to find one apiece. 20 seconds left to go, and WYLDE, they need to find an answer. They need to find it quickly. Joystick manages to get one, can't find another. Jegs, he's there for the trade. It's 2 versus 1, but they're going to have to think about the diffuser, but Jegs, he's out. It's 1 versus 1. This is 8 seconds left to go. Nitro comes in from always. He can't move through because of the fire that's in the way from his own team's gadget. And in the 1v1, he manages to find a slim angle onto Hungry and is able to take him down to get in and close out the map. Unbelievable finish to yet another round in this matchup. It just takes me back to the position we found ourselves in on Skyscraper M, with rounds coming down to the last 10 seconds. Hungry so unlucky, and WYLDE, they're going to have to take this one to 3 maps.
Removes all of the territory around Piano. If you're playing it quick and clever, they've got themselves the breach onto box as well, the pressure onto the balcony too. They're looking to see if they can try and just stretch in, get the swing round, get the plant. The cover goes down, and they are tucked right close onto it. It's going to take a shoulder of damage from the destruction of the wall. Ace is offering all the cover that you could ever possibly want from the man. Packbull does go down, but so does Pasha. It leaves them in what is a very dangerous situation. The single player gets caught out in a throw, and a flawless, though with a player on the ground, is the perfect way. The hold is curious to me, because usually it's a big fight to get that, and look at this. Packbull, they have the vertical. They can just move in and plant, and, well, there's hard walls and a swing with a player watching it. That's a bit of free territory. The Echo Drone does stop the plant, but you've still got to try and bite and fight your way in, and there's still a lot of ways to cover it. The Echo can only cover so much. They lose 2 up top, but then bite back with another, and Joystick's retaken the vertical on the second story. Shepard has done the distance inside as well, and I mean, they've somehow pieced it together here. They really took a gamble and handed a room over and went with the idea of we can retake from a single door. They lost the body in the engagement, but they won it out on the second, and Virtus Pro claim that round from a sort of idea of going, well, we can retake it. Here for it. Puts a couple of shots over the top. That one will go out. There's the flash. Finally, the player has to move. He's caught. Well done by Jegs, ready and waiting. But still, how much was thrown at that single problem now, and how much do they still have to do?
I would expect WYLDE now to be able to think about getting library control. Jegs manages to get another onto Pasha, and that should be the top floor. Theirs takes down Always as well. 4 versus 2, and all of a sudden, with a minute left, you're wondering, have they got enough to down if they need to?
I mean, they did very well there. They forced the players. There was a couple of sort of gamble fights that Virtus.pro took and led into. Joystick with the rotate back up the stairs. Wants to try and retake some of this territory here, and just swings around, misses the engagement onto the Flores, but that's the go sign for the players inside the site. Shepard gets the lockdown on the back end, 10 seconds, and they've got to try and drop and rock the hatch itself. They go for the fight onto the supply line, caught by the crossfire set up there. There's the close swing, and out of what was a 4 versus 2 with 30 seconds, Virtus.pro with barely any wiggle room. An early fight. They haven't given an early engagement to Jegs, and he's going to still try and find it, where it's Dan, who was that victim, makes one of Packful on the back end. Asus, he's going to tuck back in, try and get that kit. It was the swing angle, and he's going to go for the sneaky plant under the cover of the smokes and the cover of Hungry, but it's Pasha that finds Teb. It's a suffer of Hungry and a suffer of the kit planter as well from what was a flawless opener. Kit isolated and obviously being watched from being dropped in that position twice. This bounce, the pull of the pin won't go any further than the close swing, 20 seconds, and Virtus.pro, they're not overextending. In fact, they're still just watching that kit. They've got it all on lock. There's one handed to Jegs. There's one picked back up. Virtus.pro, 3 in a row.
Virtus.pro looking really good so far, especially.
Pings, all the calls on the intel. That grenade was never going to connect. The second has made its way down. It's ready to bait the play. The C4 is going to get ripped and does take out the Echo drone. I'm assuming hit the Talon shield as well. And the Bossa almost gets caught from the swing, but Aces gets one. Joysticks gets Jegs. Vertical has fallen back into the favor here of Virtus.pro. They're back above and they're causing some problems. 20 seconds. Uh-oh. How do you retake this now from the side of WYLDE? You have to try and break your way through. They're putting danger above. You don't really have a lot of territory for your name. You've got either a fight above that has to happen in the next 5 seconds at the same time. There it is. Asus is able to take Joystick, but now you've got to see if you can get the plant down. Is there still any danger? Is there still an Echo drone? There is still Always. And well, with that, a tied out round, and Virtus.pro, they keep themselves driving.
Virtus.pro had all the utility that they needed.
Once again, unfortunately, leaves a round without being able to have an impact against an opposing player. They lose the next, and it's one of the ones that have been a big impact, and there goes both. Suddenly, Teb and Packbull, who've only been able to get a single kill between the pair of them across all the rounds up to this point. Now they've got to see if they can try and find the remaining 4. Teb than his opponent. They know fully where he is. Worst of all, they know where the kit is too. 5-1-1/2 here. The biggest deficit we've seen between these two teams.
This is, as I say, taking full advantage of that opportunity to stay out on the roam with the Jackal being killed. Packbull with a beautiful nitro to take down the man inside of main lobby, and that leaves us 45 seconds left to go. Virtus.pro have managed to get the main breach open, but there's not going to be a lot of pressure around the rear side. Teb's ready for the backstab push coming in from Pasha. This could be a flawless round, and what a way to start their defences.
What's been run? WYLDE have been playing a good game throughout this whole map, throughout this whole series. WYLDE have generally been playing a good game. It's just not quite been able to find its feet against Virtus.pro, who are just playing a better game on the opening half. This is what happens if they play a worse game.
Alibi does have, doesn't have the impact nades, has brought along the shield, so has brought along utility for site itself, but maybe limited in the impact that he can have from underneath. Dan absolutely cuts down Packbull. Shepard onto Teb. It's falling apart for WYLDE here. 5 versus 2. It is
Hungry now. All that has to wait, but not long. Joystick with the catch over the far end. It is Jegs versus the world. Oh, and it's not a nice world to live in. Virtus.pro, 1 round away from booking themselves to Copenhagen.
Trying to get any angle that he can, using the destruction of that shotgun to try and find his man. Still 4 versus 4. This is going to be an explosive round, an explosive end to round 9 rather, as Jegs, he's rotating around and drops out back underneath, try and get himself back into sight. The long angle is being watched, but is safe for the time being. Packbull turns away at the wrong time. Always is able to to find the kill. Dan doubles down on it. It's now a 4 versus 2 with 10 seconds left to go. Diffuser going down.
Shepard is holding on. Pasha has the cover from the vertical. Jax gets caught as well, and Virtus Pro are going to Copenhagen after what was a long series. And let's be honest, fans of the team, a long time without seeing them on our grandest stages of Siege after getting very used to them. Virtus Pro, you are coming home.